Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Debrief with myself, Connor, your host. I'm joined by two fantastic people tonight. Yes, we have got a second person on who's coming in place of David Brown, who's on girlfriend duties tonight. We've all been there. Hold a moment of silence for Dave. All right, let's move on. Leeds United have confirmed the appointment of Michael Skubala. Lot to get through. Hell of a lot to get through. If you guys didn't catch the stream, I did just about 30 minutes ago. Make sure you go check that out as well. I think we had like 1.5 in the building at some time, which was great at 5:15. So yeah, I appreciate the love and all this sort of good stuff. So regular viewers, we'll get in. Gabe, how's it going?
I'm doing awesome, Connor. What a day.
Great day. And just to make the day even better, actually no sarcasm attached here, we've got Just Joe. How you doing, mate?
Not good.
I'm never calling you Just Joe again, by the way.
I know, I love that. He's on brand.
But if you don't know, if you've been hiding under a rock, obviously Joe Wainman on the channel, which is great news. Go check out Joe's channel. We'll get it in the link in the description below. Right, Mr. Wainman, we'll come to you first. How are you feeling, mate? Obviously, Leeds United hiring Michael Skubala. We know you were a big Nuno advocate. What's going on in that head of yours, mate?
To be honest, I think we're going to go down. I'm sort of resigned to the fact, and let me just put some like clarification on it. I like Skubala. I like what he's done since he came in. This is nothing about him personally, but for me, the Premier League's a totally different kettle of fish. He is a futsal coach. Yes, he's been in the game for a long time, but ultimately this is the Premier League. I'd throw at you, Michael Jackson at Burnley last season. Didn't really go well. I think what's happened is, mate, and again, like, I'm done with the board. Like, for me, I'm done. And I think for me, what they've done is, by all accounts, they've interviewed Nuno today and others over in Saudi Arabia. And ultimately, they've gone, this is a lot of money to pay. Why don't we roll the dice? If Skubala gets results against Everton and Southampton, we'll keep him till end of season. That's why they've left that statement open-ended. If he loses, then we can we can bring someone else in. But again, it's far too late. It's negligent. It's so risky. I can't stand them. I genuinely can't stand them. Like, what they're doing is just they're again gambling, bro. It's the same as last season. Like, why are they not learning their lessons? Remember the Forshaw tweeting that when we needed a midfielder? It's the same again. Do you know what else it smacks of? You know, Bamba Dieng. Welcome Bamba Dieng while we work on Cody Gakpo. It's welcome Skubala while we work on Iriola. We won't even be in this division. And then Iriola, Slot, or whoever you like, throw whatever name you want. They're not coming to the Championship. And that's where we're at. And to make it worse, Jesse's gone in at Southampton. Like, I can't deal, mate. Them USA men's national team accounts will come for me when they beat us. I'll be in hiding.
Joe, I've got YouTube. I've got people in my DMs and on Instagram saying that I would have fought for the British in the Revolutionary War because I've been out defending Leeds content creators for their rightful criticism of Jesse Marsh.
I'm so angry, man. I'm just angry. I'm angry at them. Why are they doing this, bro? Why?
It's almost like they've seen the reaction. They've seen, like, obviously, like, everyone's. I mean, we know Rad is in touch with everything on social media, so he's seen the reaction after the Scum games, and he's gone, "Oh, this guy can get this guy's got a pretty decent fan reaction here. We'll keep him in for a little bit, and we'll see what happens. We'll hang him out to dry, and then we'll see what happens, and then maybe, and then it's like, and then they've not even confirmed it till the end of the season. I feel so sorry for Skubala. It's like,
exactly.
It's like they've hung him there, and it's like, well, you're not having it till the end of the season. We'll just see how you do, and if you do poorly, then we'll try get another match. But I don't. Then what's the plan? Then is the plan to, with 10 games to go, try and go for a manager again and host more interviews? Then, like,
right?
What?
Who's going to come in for 10 games?
Exactly.
Nobody. And Connor. So I actually don't. I think Skubala's in a just for him a can't lose situation here. Because no one's going to blame him if we go. I mean, maybe some people will, but you'll have to be really thick to blame Skubala if we go down. Additionally, if he does well, maybe he gets the appointment at Leeds. Maybe he doesn't, but he'll definitely his career will take a step up. So I'm not so like. I think what really concerns me is that you've got an ownership group, if I'm the 49ers and I'm looking in and I've got a lot of money I'm supposed to be investing, and I'm looking at how the ship is being run, you've got one of the like controlling owner right now, probably drunk tweeting people, and like memifying himself. You've got things like the white smoke's going up this afternoon, or chill out, mate, or whatever you're tweeting to other people.
Relax,
All
relax, he said.
Who aren't coming. And then they're essentially saying, right, we're going to take, and this is no respect to Skubala, right? We're going to take a risk on somebody who's never managed at this level at all, or even close to it, as a futsal manager. And because we don't want to pay 5 million euros for a guy that will keep us up, they're willing to risk 40 million pounds to go down. And if I'm the investment group, the 49ers, I'm literally saying, all right, we got to check the books. I'm not sure what they've been telling us is honest. Like, let's check the investment. Let's look for some reason to back out of this, even if they do stay up, because they're unstable, these guys, Orta and Radrazani. It's terrifying to me. And for the first time, really, since the developments of the past 7-8 days, I thought just on paper how good we are as a team, that we'd be appealing enough. We'd be able to get somebody in, especially a guy like Nuno, who is, maybe not great, but I'm sorry, I think he's a good manager, but maybe not ideal for a lot of Leeds United fans, but would do a job and keep us up. Now I'm thinking, I don't see us. I don't want to say I don't see us not going down, but it's really bleak. It's really bleak, and I think that we need to. And I think on this channel we've done a good job. But I think Leeds United fans need to stop talking about, Pochettino and Thomas Tuchel and get real. Like we're not just in a relegation battle. Like, we're favored to go down now.
Yeah,
if we had a plan for Jesse right away, like after Jesse, fine. But it's clear we didn't. We've been, as Connor would say, binned off by 4 or 5 of our top choices. We're in like plan D, E, or F. They're talking about Tata Martino, who got sacked from Mexico. It's terrible. Worst World Cup showing in 20 years.
Hannah says, I honestly believe they don't have the best interest for Leeds anymore. It's a shit show.
Bro, Orta's ego's too big. Orta's ego is too big.
He's got too much power, hasn't he? He's got too much power.
100%. Rads isn't a football man. Yeah, no. He's a football fan, but he's not a football man, if that makes sense. Yeah. You've got Kinnear, who just oversees ground moves and that, like he did at West Ham, like he did at Arsenal, pure businessman. And then you've got Orta, who has some acumen, but they're like leading with everything that he says. I think, like I say, Radrazani, when people were saying to me, and this is why I can see straight through the board when they're going, oh, Nuno, relax, they're taking their time. No, let's not forget, just Sunday, they were ready to employ the Dutch Jesse Marsh in
whatever
his name was now, Schrodinger's cat. They were ready to bring him in, right? And that's why I was panicking. I was like going, just get Nuno. Just go get Rafa. Like, if we're going to mess about with appointments like this, and rather than go do that and pay the money, because they're already thinking, oh, well, we can get someone for the project next summer. We might not even be here.
Joe, I've got people tweeting me today, like in support of Nuno. Well, there's no long-term plan. Then don't bring him in. We need somebody to continue. We're not going to be in the division. The plan goes out the window. We have to survive.
Yeah.
It's like what you were saying earlier as well, Joe, with Mike Jackson, a classic example. He actually did really well. Do you remember he actually improved the fortunes a little bit, and they gave us a little bit of a go towards the end of the season between us. And we went the final day. He did that good of a job that we were in the bottom 3 and we performed a miracle. But Mike Jackson, Gary O'Neill, it's really, really difficult. And as we've said before, it's not you're not slamming Skubala. I mean, this is a guy who a week ago was saying before the Man United game, no, I'm 100% going back to my role. He was saying, I'm 100% going back to my role. There's no questions asked. That's literally what he said in the press conference. You paraphrase him. That's what he said. So for me, it's one of those where it's another vibes appointment, isn't it? He's done okay in the last 2 games. There's no real feeling going forward that Skubala is the right man. Hence the social media post, which says it'll be. I mean, what a
they haven't
shocking...
even appointed him, Connor. They said he's just going to be in charge for the foreseeable time being because they've screwed up everywhere else.
It's results dependent. It's minging. If you're going to back him. If not, don't hang, like you said, Connor, hang the poor guy out to dry. And if he fails in these next 2, Leeds are in the shit. And then they go, oh, now we'll go pay the money that so-and-so wanted. That's what will happen. But by that point, you know, listen.
I mean, Sujal's right here. Were we even talking to Nuno? Because obviously we know Rads is within the media, so we know he drip feeds the media a little bit. So you do wonder if that was ever, a thing, you know. And I think, as Michael said here, Michael says spitting feathers with the board's arrogance and naivety rolled into one. I mean, I said on the previous stream, I don't know about you two, but as soon as he said last season or the start of this season when he went, it's impossible to be relegated. I think I messaged you, Joe, or I rang you. And it was 10th to 14th. I rang someone anyway, and I went, I can't believe he's just said that, because it just sent a shiver down my spine, because it does feel at the minute that it was stable under Bielsa, and you realise the grip that he had on that club, because ever since he's left, and obviously prior Marcelo Bielsa, it's just been an absolute carnage. And it doesn't seem to have, that reprieval's not happened. Even when Marsh has been here, it's just chaotic. I mean, Gabe, what do you think the projections are, mate? Are you feeling? I mean, you must be feeling slightly less positive. Obviously, we've had two good performances under Skubala. I guess it's just the experience, isn't it? And I said on the previous stream, if they hired Nuno, let's say, I mean, I'll be honest, Joe, I was quite skeptical of Nuno, as Gabe knows at the start. But if they'd hire him, I'd be way more confident going into an Everton and Southampton doubleheader. I really would. I'm just a little bit nervous for Skubala, but primarily for Leeds United, Gabe. I mean, what's going on in your head, mate?
I think all the advantage of, we could look at when Marsh was sacked versus when Bielsa was sacked. We could say, okay, we've given a new manager more time. Well, we're essentially negating that. The two most important fixtures in our season are coming up right now with Everton and Southampton. If we can't get results, and I don't want to hear from fans, oh, it's difficult to play away. And if we can't win these matches, we're not going to stay up. That's just how it is. I think Skubala's done as good a job as he, but at the end of the day, the result was the same, right? We were on top of a team. It was Man United. It was away, right? And we did play with more width. We were a little bit more organized. We played better. I thought we looked better. It's amazing. It's a huge indictment of Marsh that just took a couple tweaks that every fan at home could tell you we needed to make. And that's what happened. And I mean, because he's obviously not going to try to reinvent the wheel with these players. That'd be really foolish, right? I mean, his job is to try to steady the ship as much as possible and wait for a new guy to come in. So I liked what I saw at Old Trafford. We still, conceded 2 and drew that match. And then we still conceded at the end of the match at Elden Road. So I think that the net results are the same. I think that the performances look better. Ultimately, this is about results. I'm not going to blame Skubala for it, obviously, because it's not his fault. I'm really concerned because if we can't get a tune out of these players in these next 2 matches, we're going down. I need to see us win both matches.
I can't see how they're playing this. How have they got it so wrong? How are they? I don't understand. As business people, they've got this so wrong. I mean, I was having chats. Listen, a lot of people might disagree with me. I was saying I wanted Marsh out at the end of the season. He was a stopgap for me. Gabe, I know me and you had a bit of, to and fro on it, and I completely understood people wanted to see him backed. I just, I had no interest in the guy. I didn't believe in it. However, they've had ample time, and I've mentioned this, Joe, to get rid of him. And like they did with Bielsa, they've got rid of him after the January transfer window. And how appealing is that going to be for a new manager coming in? Everyone keeps going on about, Iriola coming in and Nuno coming in and all this sort of stuff. It's not exactly going to be an attractive proposition when Leeds are in 17th and you've had a transfer window passed and you've got a certain style of football.
It doesn't make for great reading. They're just clowns, mate. That's the facts of it. I mean, the 49ers must be spitting feathers. Must be thinking, these idiots are taking us down.
A very well run listen, franchise really as well.
We're still stuck in League One behind the scenes at Leeds United. I genuinely believe that. You know what I mean? The people that it's just not good behind the scenes. I can't wait for 49ers to take charge, but honestly, this isn't an indictment of Skubala. I just don't think he's got the credentials to keep us in the league. And with
Joe, especially when he's going head to head with Dyche now.
This is what I'm saying, bro. And just to Gabe's point, like about us improving against Manchester United, I agree. We set up really well. But what I will say, the onus is now on us in these next 2 games. We don't know that Skubala can set us up in a way that enables us to have a lot of the ball and be able to carve open chances.
Right.
Even under Marsh, and I don't like him, we did well against better opposition. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, etc., Man United were better opposition. Will it be the same against Everton and Southampton? I'm not too sure. Look, I agree with you, mate. Even if they wouldn't have sacked him at the start of the season, the fact that they didn't do it before the window is after the World Cup. Like, basically, Jesse's had about 3 pre-seasons. Do you know what I mean? He's had, when he first came in to get his ideas across, he then had the summer, then he had the World Cup break, and we've gone backwards. You know what I mean? Back to him, I think Orta's a stain. And the mad thing is, because I'm a bit of a passion merchant, like, I've backed him even still up until recently. But seeing this managerial issues that we've had and seeing that he's the man, I'm like, get on your bike. And I almost look at how it went at Middlesbrough now and think, now I get what they're saying. Bielsa aside, every appointment's been a terrible appointment. And we're in that situation again. And, oh, man.
Joe, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. I just don't know where we're going. I think we're going down. I'm going to say it with chest now. I genuinely believe if Nuno came in, right, and I said this earlier, even if it had lost against Everton, Nuno, right, or lost against Southampton, I still look at the rest of the fixtures and think, you know what? He gets us something away at Palace. He gets us something at Wolves. He might even get us something at Chelsea. No disrespect to Skubala. I just have no confidence now. I'm a bit like, oh, God, I'm so nervous again. And after losing Jesse, being up on a high, thinking things are going to change, we're now back where we are. Like someone said to me on a tweet, on a message, can you imagine a massive corporation appointing a CEO that had no experience? They won't do it. You know what I mean? No. And Leeds United are a multi-million-pound corporation, if you like, in terms of the Premier League status, and they've gone to someone who's I feel like I'm disrespecting him, but he was a PE teacher, he was a futsal coach, and we're going, there you go.
There's elements of being a manager that is like, for instance, one of the things that Connor rightfully so, I think, really castigated Marsh for is that he would get the tactics right in the beginning, first 50, 60 minutes. But when it was time to make a change and make an adjustment, he just couldn't do it. No. This is a guy who's been a manager in multiple jobs. I mean, we could talk about the level, right? Asking Skubala and expecting him, given the lack of experience, to be able to make tactical adjustments, and teams will make them against us, to make the right substitutions, especially with a bench that isn't particularly thick. It's just asking too much.
And Gabe, especially as well, just to add to your point, you can continue, obviously, but just, the fact that his first 2 subs, arguably, they weren't the best, were they? When he took Bamford off, then Jack Harrison, it completely changed the game. So we're not, as I say, we're not
blaming him for it, but it's a fact.
But yeah, it's one of those again where, as an ownership group, you probably look at these little intricacies, don't you? But anyway.
Well, and I'm looking at that comment we just got, and no disrespect to the commenter, right? We love your comments. But talking about Wolves fans hated Nuno, he guided them from the championship to 7th, 2 seasons in a row. And in his worst season, they were 13th. Like, who are we as a club right now, where we're sitting on in the table, last 2 seasons struggle, how long we spent in the championship, that we're suddenly too good for a guy that kept
quarterfinal of the Europa League, bro. Quarterfinal, and that was the season they finished 13th. Quarterfinal.
We're on the Titanic, Connor. We're literally on the Titanic, and people are offering us lifeboats, and we're saying, no, we're going to wait for another luxury liner to come in here.
Don't let go, Jeff. Don't let go.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Go watch Titanic, because it's what's happening to Leeds United right now. I'm beside myself with some of these. We're letting perfect be the enemy of good. And by the way, this perfect idea of Leeds United that's been sort of propagated by our ownership, I don't believe in their vision. I don't believe they're competent enough to execute it. I think the 49ers will be looking at this. By the way, that investment goes away if we get relegated. To be clear for everybody, that the money will not be there. They will not invest.
Do you think?
Gone.
Yes. I think they'll go to another club. They'll go to another Premier League club. They'll just invest somewhere else.
Nuno Styles awful. Okay, well, great. Well, it got 7th in the Premier League. I can style over substance. Let's get Jesse back. Jesse's a great talker.
But as well right now, even if his style isn't, and this is my whole thing, and I'm not going to double down here, but my whole thought process, you hear the Iriola stuff, you hear at least the core brand stuff. We're going to be playing some expansive football. We're going to almost get to those Bielsa-isms, but be sturdier and steadier at the back. And you think to yourself, oh, that sounds fantastic. However, that's not the real world right now. The real world right now is short term. Leeds are in big trouble. We need to stick men behind the ball. We need to be compact. We need to be strong. We need to be devastating on the counter attack. We need to hold our shape. And, when you look at someone like Nuno, he's got experience in these situations as well against these clubs. He's got Premier League experience. And that's what I mean. I'm almost looking at it now and I'm thinking Skubala's going up against Sean Dyche here, a wiry old veteran who loves this game. And I know, I understand people are really buzzing about the Man United game. I completely get that, both games, but it's Man United. The players are obviously going to be up for it. There was a little bit of change. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it as well. But is that enough of a blueprint to be able to go forward to Everton, Southampton, the games that we've got remaining? And I tell you what I will say, and I said this in the previous stream, we can't be going to those last 4 games needing results, because when we've got Spurs, Man City and Newcastle in there,
won't happen.
I'm worrying big time.
Bro, as well, right? You could maybe look at it and go, nah, everything will be tied up. It won't. Spurs will be chasing top 4. Newcastle will be chasing Europe. Maybe not top 4, but Europe. City have got a challenger in the title in Arsenal.
Yeah.
Them games, they're coming out to win. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not even as if like they're on the beach, if you like. Because I looked at them and I was like, even West Ham, bro, could still be down there with us. You just don't know. And then that's huge. And oh man, honestly,
do you think to yourselves as well? Like I was saying on my previous stream, like I wonder what the players are thinking. Like because the media circus it's been over the past like week, where we've been getting turned down, and it really, and this is no, once again indictment on Skubala, but it feels like right now it's like, well, we can't get anywhere, so we'll give it to Skubala. And you wonder how that feeds into the players' mentality, when they've gone out. We don't think Marsh is a great appointment for Southampton, but Southampton think it's a good appointment for Southampton. And Southampton
they got their man, didn't they?
Yeah. They've done it. And Everton have gone.
Premier League.
And Everton have gone and done it. They've gone and got it sorted straight away. And the players will be infused by that. You wonder nearly 10 days down the line with Leeds United and the owner tweets. The players will see the owner tweets as well, and they'll be thinking, Jesus Christ.
They're going to think our owners, like our leaders at this club, are delusional. They're sending Victor Orta to people that have no vested interest or reason to come to the club. I don't want to be just completely negative. I think there are a couple reasons to hope that we can get some results here, and here's why. Mark Rocca's going to be coming back in the team. And he's going to love playing. Go on.
Can I just say as well, John Scholes is right. Connor, for 6 months last year, he told us we were going down. You're right. And I did think that. And I did stand by because I thought, well, let's give Scoobs a go. It's like we're already down. Listen, I'm not saying we're already down. I think we're, as a group, as a fan base, I think we're all a little bit worried right now. I think we can, of course, we can judge the ownership right now because, I mean, how can you not? How can you not, right? And Gabe's quite spot on, and we'll let him finish his point. Mark Rocca's got to come back. Sinisterra's got to come back. Strout's got to come back. We've got a good team. We've got a better team. We can't lose that fact. We've been saying that for the past month after we brought these signings in, 2 weeks, whatever it's been. But you do have to have a captain, a leader who's guiding that team as well to safety. It can't just be up to the players, and that's all we're saying. It's the lack of experience going up against some of these managers down there who have experience, I think. So
it's often our group therapy in here as well to just to moan about things that are bothering us. Doesn't mean that we're not going to get behind the team. I think that one of the positives I will take from the Man United game is, I mean, Connor, we talked a lot about how McKennie in a certain way is a really impactful player, but if you ask him to do things he's not great at doing, he's not going to be like, he's not.
It's not passive,
when you look at the United States, he's not Yunus Musa, right? He's not Mark Rocca. He doesn't make those type of progressive passes. That being said, takes up really good positions, good in tight areas, and he's really good. Despite the fact that people keep calling him fat, he's really fit and he's really good at covering ground, and he gets stuck in. He and Adams are a nightmare to play against for opposing midfields. I mean, they hate it, right? And if you add the quality of Mark Rocca, who's really, really solid in terms of progressive passing, you have a midfield three there, if they're deployed together, that can be really, really good. And you need players like Adams and McKennie in a relegation battle who are going to give you 110% every time out. That's really important. So I think for Skubala, I think if he can get because it's clear we're going with him, right? It's clear we're going to have to get behind him. If he can get the in-game management right, I think we don't have a bad side on paper. Thanks, Jesse, for hurting Rodrigo. But other than that, I think we're okay on paper. I don't look at this side. It's a better side than it was last year. I think it's a better side than Southampton. I think it's a better side maybe than Everton. Maybe I'm overrating our players, but
and can I also say we're going down last year if it wasn't for Rafinha. So let's just throw that one out there.
And just to add as well, like I see, I can see people's comments and that, and a few people say they're done with me because I said we're going down. I don't care. Like, if you're done with me, you're done with me. I'm giving you my opinion. Someone just called me a clown. I hate to be, are you happy now? You're a clown. Listen, like Gabe's just said, this squad is much better than it was last season, and we're in the same position. Why are we in that same position? Because of Jesse Marsch. That's facts. So if you want to come and be whataboutery and say, oh yeah, I told you, the guy was taking us down. At least we've given ourselves a chance. It's just the board have made the wrong decision. And look, I hope Skubala beats Sean Dyche. I hope he gets a win against Southampton. And listen, we're all fickle. I'm not saying he doesn't have that quality. I just look at it now objectively and I think this is too much of a gamble. This is the Premier League. We're giving it a guy that don't really want the job and also, doesn't really have the credentials to lead it. And I just think the board it's so arrogant. Like Gabe was saying, they've gone, we can get Corberan. He's pied them. Oh, we'll just go to Spain. Pied. Or we'll go all pied. Do you know what I mean?
Did they not do any prep work before? I mean, it's not like they were sold on Marsch all the way through. I mean, there were rumors that before Anfield that he was going to lose his job, right? So you'd think they would have had, I mean, they did with Bielsa, right? They had behind the scenes conversations with managers. But this is not me saying Marsch, they shouldn't have sacked Marsch. I want to be very clear here. But the reason I've gone from in 8 days feeling pretty good about our chances is because I was thinking they must have somebody ready to go because an ownership group wouldn't?
Gabe, I think we're all pretty buoyant as well after the window, weren't we? It was a cracking window. So
you're thinking the side is good. Somebody would like to come in. You're thinking, well, there are people out there you can get, even if you don't get your top appointment, like Nuno, like you could get Rafa. There's lots of managers that would come to Leeds. You would have to pay, but hey, short-term investment for a long-term stay up, fine. I think where I'm worried now is it's clear that this group doesn't want to spend 5 million euros on Nuno, and they'd rather roll the dice with a guy that's never been a manager at this level, or even playing the same sport, essentially.
Rafa's not even in work. Rafa's not in work.
I think they're so keen on Iriola. I think they're so keen on Iriola that paying 6 million quid for Nuno was something that they didn't want to do for 15 games. But I'm in agreement with both of you. It's so short-sighted because you're going to lose so much money going down anyway if that is the case. And you guarantee, once again, it's like if we go down, Iriola is not coming. So it's like just.
Connor, how many games are left after Southampton?
After Southampton, there'll be 13, won't they?
Was it
okay,
13?
So all the advantage. Essentially, pretty much all the advantage that you have of if you appoint somebody, you let Scoobs take maybe one of the Man United games. Yeah. Right. You at least have a match that we're all sort of going to give a wide sort of bandwidth for mistakes to get the side right, to learn your side. And then we're on it for these next 2 matches. Where's the runway for a new manager? If I'm Nuno, I'm thinking, well, the easier fixtures would have been nice to come in for. Now you're going to expect me to take this appointment facing who we have on the back half of the season.
Chelsea.
Even this Chelsea team, as poor as they are with Graham Potter, nearly as bad of a run of form as Jesse Marsch had.
But I don't feel, Joe, that this is negativity now. I don't think we're being deliberate.
No.
I mean, we're just looking objectively at what's going on with the club, and I don't know what else to say, really. I don't know if
we're being objective. I think obviously we're subjective. We're fans of Leeds United, right? And we're terrified that we're going to go down because it would be catastrophic to the club, right? So it's clear I'm not going to try to hide that I'm afraid and I'm upset and I'm emotional about this. Like,
of course,
we clearly are. That being said, it's because we care about the club, and I think I'm going to say, as an American, for some Americans that are only here, and there's only some, I think there are plenty of American fans that really do support Leeds United. But for those of you who only tuned in for Jesse, for Tyler Adams and stuff, getting relegated for a club like this, those guys will move on, right? We'll lose 60 million pounds in the first season. And we'll lose that TV revenue. We'll lose any of the expanded revenue for the United States. It's going to be out the window because
It's
those guys are
scary,
not
man.
going to be
It is.
here.
It's
terrifying.
scary what happened to Leeds and what happened in 03-04. It might not be on that extent, but the moving parts that we would see if Leeds were to go down would be seismic. It would be terrifying. It really would, because I've said on a previous stream, and listen, we can stay up. Yeah, we could still finish 11th, or well, maybe not 11th, but 13th. I don't think it's going to happen, but if that does happen, fantastic, and you're a braver man than me for stating that and believing in it, but I just think the decisions that this board have made for such a long period of time now need to be called out. It's just getting to a point now where it's nonsensical.
Do you know, like, and just to come back to Gabe's point about us not really having anybody lined up, again, I put that down to Orta's arrogance, because the guy was speaking to Marsh for months before Bielsa came in. He'd already agreed to take the job. So where was the due diligence? Well, there was none, because Orta believed, well, this can't go wrong. You know what I mean? He's too arrogant. He was the one who wanted him there longer than anybody else.
Yeah.
And just while you're chatting, I wanted to look how many games are left, and I look at the table.
Is that right, Joe? Is it 13 after Southampton?
We've got 16 left, so it'll be 14. 14. But
It's not a lot.
Looking at them bottom six, throw Forest in there as well, yeah? Steve Cooper's a top coach.
Yeah.
A really quality coach. Wolves have got Lopetegui. West Ham have got David Moyes. Sean Dyche is at Everton. The other three, Bournemouth, Gary O'Neill. Southampton, Jesse Marsh. Leeds United, Skubala. And that's why I think we're going down, because I look at and listen, there is a long way to go, and I hope I'm wrong.
Lopetegui as well, Joe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it just doesn't have the pull, man. And look, people are saying, like, and I didn't notice it at the time, but I've seen it since. Like, Luke Ayling apparently was not happy when Bamford got brought off. It did seem too soon. He didn't look like he was leggy for me personally, and I do think, I don't want to hammer Skubala, although some, I had the final word, and they were saying no, he needs hammering. The subs cost us the game, and I don't
think so.
But if Luke Ayling's already showing signs of dissent on the football pitch, then are they not? Again, could the players? I know it sounds mad, but maybe the players have got too much bloody power. You just don't know anymore, because the club.
Well, the thing is, Joe, there's also this criticism, like Jorginho Rutter is getting like crucified on Twitter, which is ridiculous. Yeah, no doubt that like you have to make adjustments in the match, but watching that match, I get why the manager was like, well, we've had a couple chances fall down to Bamford, couldn't get his touch right, whatever. Maybe it's not his day. We'll bring on somebody else that will challenge them with pace. They had Harry Maguire in the match. Tactically, you understand why this makes sense, especially given Maguire's passing. Press the guy, will do all right. Bamford's run really hard. It's really easy in hindsight to make that correlative argument of, oh, you brought on Aronson and you made these substitutions and our quality dropped. I think it has more to do with the fact that we were defending most of the match. We didn't have a lot of possession. Man United is very good in attack, especially from the flank areas. And at some point, the bend don't break. We're not quite good enough at the back to do that. So I'm not necessarily going to castigate Skubala for making substitutions on a player that didn't seem to be having a lot of impact during the match in terms of Patrick Bamford. And that's not going after Bamford. That's a tough assignment. I just think that right now, when things are bad like this, we look for people to blame. And I think that whoever's in front of us is going to be the target. Which is why the players some of the players are getting it right now. I think that everyone's frustrated because of the predicament they're in. I don't think they thought they'd be back here. I think that the only people to blame right now, truly, are Radrizzani, Orta, and Jesse Marsh. But even Jesse Marsh, to a particular degree, I mean, what do we expect him to do? Resign on his own and say, hey, like, he clearly believed in what he was doing. And this sentiment of seeing the comments, like, some positive to bring out of the match, and we should be feeling good after Man United. We felt good after Arsenal, right? We should have gotten something from that match. We didn't. We felt good after Chelsea. We felt good after Liverpool. Did that make a difference? We shouldn't be Vibes FC. I want to see us get results and to put the pressure on a guy, to your point, Joe, who's never done this before, and expect us to feel good about it. Better believe I'm going to cheer our team as hard as possible.
Yeah.
But God. That they would put us through this is terrible.
Taylor says Jesse took us from relegation to relegation. Good talker, but bad manager and coach. We need someone like Sam Haller. don't want him, but his experience. Jay says, I always try to stay positive. I've spotted Leeds for 30 years, but this is the most worried I've ever felt. Last time I had this feeling we got relegated from the Premier League. Yeah. I mean, are there any positives, Joe?
I'm struggling.
What about the squad?
It's Tyler Adams' birthday. That's a positive, Joe.
What about the squad going into the Everton game, or do you think that's?
No, I think. Listen, if he sets up similar to he did at Everton, if we're going to allow, like Tarkowski and Cody to have the ball,
yeah,
I'm cool with that. I think we can keep them out. I think my worry is at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
That for me, if Everton do stay up, that's where they get all their points, the majority of the points. A lot of people are going, oh, they look woeful yesterday. They never do well at Anfield. It's a derby. Come on, the week before they beat Arsenal. So do you know what I mean?
I actually didn't think they looked, in comparison to what they normally like at Anfield as well. I didn't think they looked as bad as what people are saying.
Tarkowski hit the post the moment before Salah puts it in back. If he scores, different game. Different game.
Liverpool team, though. I think that this is my contribution to this point is that I've always felt, and I think that sometimes in football we tend to look at trends and we tend to look at history. This team playing for us doesn't have a long history of playing away at Everton. You know what I mean? Like, these are a lot of new players who've not been here. At some point, yeah, it's the Premier League. Every match is hard. It's hard to play away from home. But I just don't think it's an adequate excuse for these players. Like, go in and get a result against a team that has fewer points than we do. We have to do it.
Goodison Park's such a tough place to go, man.
I know it is, but name an away ground that's like easy to play at. You know, like I just don't.
Ellen Road under Jesse Marsh.
Yeah, I think it is. It does give you. It does. I mean, I think it's because you see it a lot with Goodison, don't you? It's the back end of the season when they've got that siege mentality. We might have the better players, but I do think when it comes down to these end games right now, it comes down to who wants it more. And I'm just hoping that Leeds want it more on the day, because Everton and the blue smoke and their atmosphere, they'll want it. So
let's be real. Sorry to come in. This is further clowning on that board that we've got. Before Everton played last season, with all the smoke bombs and all that, the guy at our football club was sliding into DMs of content creators, trying to get them to create an atmosphere like that and saying to them, oh, don't tell anyone it's come from the club. We want you to push it. Do you know what I mean?
It's humiliating.
Exactly, bro. And this is the people that are at the club who are going to people, oh, listen, get smoke bombs and that. And then he's got, oh, is it a club run thing? No, don't tell them it's from the club. Like, what we're doing, manufacturing an atmosphere. Like, that's what's happening behind closed doors. Do you know what I mean? This is what we're dealing with. Can you imagine someone at Everton going into Toffee's TV, someone at Liverpool going to Redmen and going, listen, will you get some flares and that for us, create an atmosphere? It's embarrassing, bro. And it's them little things like that. And then it when you add it all together in one big, massive thing, it's just a clusterfuck, isn't it? And that's what's running.
Joe, it almost feels, doesn't it almost feel like, I got to be honest, I have been shocked at the level of, or the lack of professionalism by Victor Orta at numerous points, right? Like going at the fans in the stands and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's done that before, but also Roger Zani on social media. When you see these kind of things public facing, right? Usually things are worse behind the scenes. It almost feels like we're going to get instead of Take Us Home in Leeds United, we're going to get like a epic collapse documentary about what happened and why the 49ers withdrew their investment. I mean, it feels calamitous. And it's one of these things that it gathers a negative momentum, right? And we're one bad result from Leeds being the most toxic club in the Premiership, because honestly, like, if we lose badly to Everton or lose to Southampton, if Jesse Marsh beats us, I mean, what do you think people they're going to turn on the board entirely? It's going to be a very difficult place to be. So if people are worried about positivity now, watch what happens if we don't get results in those next 2 matches, especially against Southampton. I'm not talking about this space. I mean, just in general.
What about the last time we won a game as well against Bournemouth at home when Victor was going, sack of the board, going like this, going like this to everyone. Oh, we've not won a game. We have not won a game since then. Sack of the board like this. Yeah, do sack the board, man. Get on your bike. Honestly.
So Joel says, can we win 7 more games this season? If we do, we are up. That's mental, isn't it? We are at 40 points. Bingo. Can we win another 7 games, though? Plain and simple. Sujat is a really good comment because, 2 games at the minute seems... I mean, that's an almighty task, isn't it, Gabe, for someone like Skubala, if he is the permanent manager towards the end of the season, to pick up 7 wins. I mean, it might not be 40 points, but it feels like the standard it's quite high in the bottom 5 this season, as in it seems like they're picking up a lot more points than normal.
That means we would have to beat everybody in and around us on the table and pick up points in unexpected places a few times. Yeah. I think, and think about this. Like, again, remember I was on this show a number of times earlier this season, pointing to data as positive points and saying, hey, we're not that far away from it. If we hadn't got that Chelsea result, which is an aberration, statistically, it's an aberration. It's a poor Chelsea team this year, despite their massive, almost fraudulent investment. Hadn't nicked those points at Anfield, we'd be on 2 wins. I mean, it's unconscionable to think about. So, and the only other matches we've won in the Premier League have been against Bournemouth. And who else? I don't even remember.
Wolves, was it?
Wolves, yeah. First game of the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to beat Wolves again, is what that means. We have to beat Crystal Palace. We have to beat West Ham again. We have to beat Leicester when we play them, no matter what happens again. We can't lose any of those matches. That's a tough position to be in. Like, we have to win them because we're not going to beat these other top 4 sides we play. We're not going to beat Fulham when we play them again. Like, Fulham's buzzing.
Oh, yeah. Fulham are doing really well. Justin always reminding me there's 1.6K in the room. Make sure you head on over to Joe's channel. His link will be in the description below. Just Joe Football Show. Make sure you check out more Leeds United content there. Gabe, we need to start you up a YouTube channel. If Brown was here, I'd direct you all to his Twitter, which is always a laugh. But yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do, fellas, because this is just desperate at the minute and I'm trying to find some positivity. Let's get on to score predictions for the Everton game. We'll do another one of these before Southampton or whatever. But I'm just seeing people saying 40 points won't be enough, and that's just making my head spiral, to be honest. But yeah, all right, so we've got Brownie said we're drawing our way to safety. So he's told me we're getting a 1-1 out for this game. So Joe, as the guest, we'll come to you next, mate. What are your thoughts?
Oh, God.
So Everton Leeds at Goodison Park. So yeah, Brownie's gone 1-1. So what are your thoughts, mate?
I'm sorry. 1-0 Everton.
Oh, a crushing close game as well. Oh, who's scoring for him? Tarkowski.
Cody set piece. Yeah, and he'll give it all that, won't he? I think honestly, I think it's just because maybe I'll look at it objectively, but right now I'm just so downbeat. 1-0 Everton, mate. Corner, Daichi ball.
Yeah. 2-0 Everton, says Tom. Our kid says 1-1. 4-0 Leeds. Joe, someone's upset with you already. 2-1. 2-1. I get it, Joe. I can't do it anytime, mate. I say we win, and I get battered even more. So, Gabe, thoughts? So we've got a draw and a loss.
I know you're going to predict a loss, so I'm just going to disagree with you for trying to psych myself up into a positivity space. I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds. Big Mac Wes McKennie, outside of his 3rd yellow card for the club, gets the game-winning goal on a header in the box on a really scrappy, broken play.
Off his big ass
everywhere. Yeah, it's gonna come off his what is it? An indented chest? What is it he has? I don't remember. But somebody mentioned that there's a type of chest build. Listen, I hope it happens. I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
2-0. Juan Martinez says
2-1.
3-0. Revenge time. The best journo in the business. Tommy Hansen, 3-1 Leeds victory. 2-2. 3-1 Leeds. Right. I'm going to go with I'm going to go 2-2. But it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough, I don't think. I just don't think we're going to keep them out. I think we'll score first, but I think they'll probably go 2-1 and might equalise, but that's a hopeful thing. I don't know. I mean, they're nothing special. Do you know worries me a little bit? Onana, to be honest.
Onana. Yeah.
He worries me a bit in the midfield, but hopefully we've got maybe a little bit to contend with him. I don't know.
I think just when I was going to mention it earlier when Gabe was talking about a midfield, and it did really well against Man United, but it was Bruno, it was Skubala, it was what's his
Get
name?
him in the middle.
What's his name, man? Just moved from Bayern.
Bruno, Sabitzer.
Fred. Whereas if you stick Casemiro in there, would they got much joy? I just think Onana, Adrisaganage and Doucouré, it's a totally different kettle of fish. It'll be very, very difficult, and they'll be up for it.
Be physical, won't it? It'll be a physical game.
Bro.
Yeah,
so physical.
But to be honest, I favor our boys in a physical game against those guys. I do.
Yeah.
Nana's about 8 foot, so I think. Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not so sure. We'll see in it. We'll see. Listen, don't bring Aronson on in that respect, man. The guy's built like maybe.
Keep Aronson at home. Get him on a gym. Get him on a gym plan.
Get him on the creatine.
There were Man United fans trying to say that Martinez intimidated McKennie. I was like, what?
I've seen that post.
He's on a yellow, wasn't he? He couldn't have done it.
He was on a yellow.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Like, mess with him or something, and they did like a zoom in and that. I was like, what are you on about?
McKennie would have eaten that guy like a burger.
I just wish everyone, like, some more people would Ivan Tony Martinez. Remember at the start of the season where Tony just bullied him, and there's no other striker seemingly has done it. I mean, he's a good player, but he can be bullied like when he's that height as a centre back. But Reggie Gamer says, "Do you think there will be chance against Radzanorta?" I think if we lose, there will be. 100%. They can't lose now. They're all in now. They're all in. So. But yeah, let's leave it there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. As I say, Joe's link will be in the description below. And yeah, we'll be back with the debrief very, very soon. As I say, please make sure you're liking, keep commenting after the video as well. And hopefully we'll be a little bit more doughy-eyed on the next one. But guys,
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Yay!
Sack of the board. That's what I was saying, man.
We will see you in a bit. Cheers.